We are but a mere day or so away from finding out, finally, the identity of the mysterious Susan Triad. She's shown up in every single episode throughout the season, possibly even since the start of the 60th anniversary. I mean, Donna mentions to Rose in one scene that woman from Abu Dhabi who buys your dolls, she's a grown woman totally obsessed with gonks. Maybe that's Susan Triad. We know Rose is back in the finale. Maybe there's a connection there. And maybe she's in the giggle when she picks up that golden tooth that the Master is locked within. But who is she? Well, before the episode goes out, before we find our answers, I thought I'd create this fun little tier list of all the top theories suggested by you guys in the comments. And I'm going to go through and rank which theories I think are more likely and which theories I think are utter crap. I mean, at this point, anything is possible, but let's just jump into the tier list. Before I fully start on this, please subscribe if you haven't already. The channel's full of Doctor Who-y goodness. If you want to comment anything down below, it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Any help would be appreciated. Okay, first up, we're getting the main theory that everyone, including myself, has been throwing around for months right out of the way. Sutekh. Susan Triad technology, Sutekh, ancient Egyptian god. We've seen sand in the trailer. The Vlinks, Sphinx. Okay, that one's a bit of a stretch. But Sutekh is a godlike person, and someone unearthed an interview with Russell from, I think, 2003, where he says he used to dream about Sutekh escaping the corridor of time and raining down hell upon Earth. Which seems to be happening in this finale, especially since Russell has said this is an idea he's had for about 40 years. It also makes sense. If he's the one who waits, he's been waiting in the corridor of time for ages to get out and seek revenge on the Doctor. He also wants to give the world his gift of death and destruction, and he wants to turn everything to dust or sand, tying in with ancient Egypt. Also, that really cool shot in the trailer where we see Susan Triad with like pyramids behind her. I think Sutekh's very likely, so I'm going to put him in S tier. S, yeah, for super likely to happen. I think it just makes sense. I know Russell said there's a connection to a third Doctor story, so that's kind of confusing, but I think Sutekh's incredibly likely, so we're going to have him right up there in S tier. Now, Susan Triad is Susan Triad. This is a very, very high possibility as well, I reckon. She may just be a businesswoman called Susan Triad. Astrid Peth from Voyage of the Damned. Astrid is an anagram of TARDIS, so's S Triad. Didn't mean she had anything to do with the TARDIS, did it? Apparently online, everyone in 2007 was going, Astrid's going to be like the TARDIS in human form. Didn't happen though, did it? So who knows? Maybe she is just a businesswoman who's being used for something. Maybe if Sutekh is back, she isn't actually Sutekh, but she's his servant or unwilling servant. Maybe it's like my theory that I posted the other day, you can go and watch that video on the channel, where she used to work for UNIT back in the 1970s, and she's been working her way up, stole a bit of the Third Doctor's TARDIS, and is now trying to create commercially available time travel. Maybe it would be a bit of an anticlimax, but I do think that there is a god or someone on the way. Maybe it's not Susan Triad though, maybe she's just the messenger. She's the harbinger. I think that's quite likely, so we're also going to put that in S tier. I promise not all of these are going in S tier, but I think those two are quite likely. Okay, now we have Fenric from The Curse of Fenric. It's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out, I'm not, but I don't think there's been any clues. There's been no clues, there's been no hints, have there? The only reason for Fenric possibly being this god is because Fenric's a god, and the series seems to be suggesting the one who waits is a god. It would be cool though. I mean, Fenric would probably want revenge on the Doctor for the events of The Curse of Fenric, but I don't know. I'm going to put it in C tier. D is what I'm going to call basically not happening impossible. C is, there's a small possibility of it. It's a bit of a curveball. I'd be happy to see it, but I really think it's unlikely. Now we're moving on to God himself. If this character came back, I would cry for joy. Omega, or however you want to say it, because people always shout at me in the comments. The The creator of time travel and manipulator of black holes and Time Lord history, Omega would make a lot of sense to make a return, especially considering that Russell has said the backbone of this season is the Timeless Child arc. Omega would have the answers of the Doctor's adoption and Timeless Child stuff if he was there at the beginning with Tecteun. Also, he's a god. He probably wants to wreak revenge. Those shots in the trailer we've seen of things turning to sand and to dust, maybe that's his antimatter presence and antimatter existence colliding with matter, creating an explosion and wiping the universe out. I suppose that's a little bit like Flux, but I don't think it's impossible. I also think the fact that Russell said there's strong ties to the Third Doctor's era makes Omega quite a strong candidate for being up there with the possibilities, so I'm going to put him in A tier. He's not quite as believable as Susan Triad being Susan Triad, or Susan Triad being Sutekh, or having something to do with Sutekh, but I think he's a very close second, or I guess third. I could see it happening, and I kind of hope it does happen, but I don't think it's as likely as some of the alternatives. Okay, Tecteun. Tecteun and Omega are similar categories. I don't know why I keep doing weird British accents. That was an American accent a minute ago. But Tecteun was killed in Survivors of the Flux, so I think her appearance is unlikely. She is a really cool character though, and I would like to see her come back one day, but maybe it's a bit too soon to do that. As I said with Omega, her character has strong ties to the Doctor's adopted nature, so maybe... But also, I can see them kind of wanting to do something a bit different, a bit new. Tecteun isn't as big a returning character, and she's not supernatural. She's not a god. She's just a bit mean. She's kind of like the Doctor's mother figure, so maybe she could regenerate into the face of Susan Triad, Chameleon arc or something. I don't know, I'm going to put her in B tier. Or C. No, she's going in C tier with Fenric. Unlikely, I think, but not ruling it out completely. It's not impossible. I tell you what is impossible, though. I put this on here because it's funny, someone suggested that she is Mel. I don't know how that works. I've been trying to think of a theory. Mel could be Susan Triad because, I mean, Mel is in the episode, so... Did she make a robot duplicate of herself to go and... I have no idea, but yeah, we're going to put Mel in D tier. If it happens, that would be absolutely hilarious, but it doesn't really make any sense. Why? Let me know in the comments your best theory. Why on earth Mel may be Susan Triad? I mean, it's not going to happen, but it's fun to theorise. Okay, here's another unlikely one, but the Valeyard, the evil amalgamation of the Doctor's personality, somewhere between his 12th and final incarnation. I don't know why I felt like saying that so dramatically, but deal with it. I think it's unlikely. It's not impossible, though, because of all the weird supernaturally stuff that's been happening with the TARDIS. The Valeyard is the evil Doctor, so him disguising himself with that name kind of makes sense. I'm going to put him in C tier as well. I think it's unlikely, but obviously it could be a regeneration. The Valeyard could regenerate into the face of Susan Triad. She could be going after the Doctor. That's why she's in all the different time periods, stalking him out, watching him. But then I suppose if it's the Doctor's future evil incarnation, it would just be able to remember all that. I don't know, but I'm not ruling it out. The Valeyard is a possibility. It's weird that they've never cropped up in New Who. They're only from Classic Who. I think one serial, The Trial of a Time Lord. So who knows? Hopefully... Well, I say hopefully, I'd rather one of the other gods come back, because that's the thing as well, the Valeyard isn't really a god. But it's a possibility, C tier, possibly D tier, bordering on both. Now this one isn't that Susan is the Daleks, because that would be strange, but that the Daleks are Susan's technology, similar to Revolution of the Daleks. I think it's unlikely, but I'm not ruling out Daleks at all. I'm going to put Daleks in B tier. I think that's fair enough, they're unlikely, but what I was thinking is, what if you get like godlike Daleks? Like, they're mega, they're cool, they're built up. They're not just Daleks, they're like supernatural god Daleks. That could be a like really cool idea. So I'm putting it in B, mainly because I think that would be really cool to see, but I do think it's unlikely. This woman from the end of time, the Doctor's mother, as confirmed by Russell T Davies in The Writer's Tale. She's never credited as that on screen, but why would the Doctor's mother be stalking her throughout time? I'm not ruling out a Doctor's family member. I've just realised I forgot to put Susan on this list, so we're going to combine the Doctor's mother, granddaughter and daughter all into one. What if it's a family relation to the Doctor? I think that's quite possible. I'm going to put this in A tier. I could see Susan Triad being Susan Foreman, the Doctor's granddaughter, the one who waits. One day I shall come back. He hasn't come back yet. Maybe she's a bit annoyed at that, but also I don't think Susan would turn evil. And also, if they were doing Susan, why not bring back Carol Ford? Unlikely, but not impossible. It's staying in A tier. Then finally, this is a good one. The TARDIS. S Triad. Rearrange those letters and you get TARDIS. So I think it's a strong possibility that this is the direction that the finale's taking. Susan Triad, TARDIS. I'm going to put it in S tier. I think it's on the same sort of level as Sutekh and her just being a businesswoman. It's quite a big possibility. The TARDIS has been making all those weird sounds, like crashing into places rather than just materialising for about how many episodes? Star Beast is where it started, because also, I'm not buying that Donna spilling coffee caused that explosion. There's other forces at play. Wild Blue Yonder as well. There's something weird going on. TARDIS in S tier. But those are my rankings of these theories. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.